Davin. Thanks a lot. Hey, everybody. Good morning. Welcome to Empower. I tried to get the production crew to make that a huge slip and slide. It looked like it would be perfect for that. And I thought it would blow up on Instagram. But they thought the electric stuff there wouldn't really accommodate that. Welcome to Empower. I hope you guys are having a wonderful time in Austin. Is it going all right for you all? Awesome. I want to first express my deep and sincere thanks and gratitude to everyone who took time away from your work to come join us in Austin. I know it's a lot of fun, but it is time, it is travel, and I appreciate you making the time to be here, number one. Number two, I really want to express my thanks to all the stage management crew, all our partners, everybody at the JW Marriott. First time I've had to say it, I'd like to thank the band. And I really want to thank Beth Highland and Allison Hunt, both from Quickbase. Can we give them a quick round of applause? I've got a ton to cover, so I'm going to jump in really quick. And the stage management crew, can you hit the clock so I don't go all day, which I could if you don't. All right. As I get rolling, I'm going to start by just sort of putting up a disclaimer. This means anything I say cannot and will not be used against me in a court of law. As Davin mentioned, my name's Jay Jamison. I've been at Quickbase for about 8 months, and it has been just a thrill to be here. I've been in the software industry for about 20 years. I started my career at Microsoft, worked in the United States, worked in Japan, then worked in startups for a number of years, and then joined Hewlett-Packard Enterprise, where I built software that basically we service some of the largest and most complex IT environments on the planet. And when I started to learn a little bit more about what Quickbase was doing and had the opportunity to meet Rick Willett, our CEO, and some of the employees there through the interview process, I got really excited. And then when I learned a little bit more about the market, I got even more excited. But then what really got me over the hump and what's been just such a joy and honor for me is as I got to know some of the customers and how you're using our product every day, how you're using it to transform the different types of work you're doing in all sorts of myriad ways that I'm sure you've heard on stage, I'm sure you're doing every day, and that it inspires me and makes me just so privileged and blessed to be in this role driving our product organization forward. Rick talked briefly yesterday about our new corporate values. The first one of those is being customer obsessed. And that really resonates deeply with me. And so on this slide is my personal mobile phone, my email, my Twitter handle. You can connect with me anytime, any way you like, text, email, whatever. You can on Twitter, I confess, I'm talking a lot right now about my love of brisket and bacon, but you can definitely reach out. I love hearing from you, and it's really important to me that I say that. If there's one message that I could leave you all with today, it's that I believe with great conviction that our best days are ahead of us, and I'm going to talk a little bit about why I think that. It's very evident to me when I look at the team that Rick has built around him, sort of all around the organization, but across our senior leadership team. Our leader of sales, Dan Freund, a long-term, very effective leader of sales with Oracle Corporation. Mark Doust, who's led customer success organizations for the better part of 2 decades, again, at very large, world-leading companies like Hewlett-Packard. I think about Joel Collins, who leads our legal, who's really been stretching us to get more flexible in how we license. I think about Amy Cohn starting to really help us build the kind of culture and team that we need around us. And most recently, George Machini, who has been with us for just a few months, but as you saw him talk yesterday, our CTO, a really compelling vision around where we take this technology, and his background in mobile, his background in enterprise integrations is something that I think is so strong. And last but not least, Cynthia Gumbert, who's got a great blend, I think, of that real connection with the maker generation, as well as sort of great enterprise software experience and marketing. I think this is a team that is deeply convicted about building an exceptional company with you. And so it's really evident to me that we have a deeply tangible and very grounded approach to having our best days be in front of us. But what I want to spend the next 83 minutes and 25 seconds doing is talking to you about how I think in the product organization we're setting the agenda and the direction to really help our best days be ahead. In my mind, there are 3 reasons. The first one is we in the product organization are really focused on some very key and tight objectives from a product standpoint. I'm going to talk about them more, but at the high level, they're trust, simplicity, and power. And in a year from now, I expect very much our focus is going to be on trust, simplicity, and power. And that focus is leading us to the second reason that I think our best days are in front of us, and that is that we are very tightly focused on execution. We are very much in a mode of doing what we say and saying what we do. We are executing. As Davin mentioned, over the last year, my perspective has been that we have been a shipping machine. We have been just blasting out feature after feature across these focus areas, month in and month out. Now, we don't have it all done. We've got a ton of work still left to do, but the fact that we're executing, the fact that we're shipping at the pace that we're shipping at, and that rate is accelerating is something that gets me very excited about our best days being in front of us. Today's keynote is going to be one that has a lot of demos, a lot of showcases of things we're doing. I'm really excited to bring folks on stage and showcase that. And everything we show here is either shipping already or is going to be shipping very soon. So I can't wait to talk a little bit about it. So that execution focus is reason number 2. Reason number 3 is really that I think we've got a big and compelling vision for the future. Now, this is something that I've lived in. The world today of IT and business software and all these sorts of things is dominated by what I think of as big rock IT. If you talk to many senior IT execs, many senior executives, they're thinking about words like digital transformation. And that stuff's important for sure, for sure. But these projects that I worked on in my former life at Hewlett-Packard Enterprise, these projects take years to roll out. They are very, very costly, and they're often pretty risky. Here's a study from Bain, a global consulting firm. They went out and asked a couple hundred IT pros, you just went through this digital transformation, how did it do relative to your goals and expectations? And what basically the respondents said, well, 5% of them met or exceeded expectations. 5%, 1 in 20. That is absolutely something that should shock us. It should disappoint us. And yet in many ways, it doesn't surprise me based on experiences that I've had. I mean, I've talked to dozens of customers in my time in enterprise software. Well, they'll say, well, we went on a journey for basically a 5-year ERP modernization. We're 4 years into it, and we probably have another 4 years to go. You know, that is common. I once talked to a company, a very large oil and gas company. They had 9,000 applications they wanted to move to the cloud. And they calculated they could do 3 apps per day to move to the cloud. So they realized that's going to be 3,000 days, or a little bit more than 10 years. The point here isn't that these are bad. The point is that they're all consuming, they're risky, and I think there's time for a new approach. Our new approach is basically to say, look, you can have your big rocks, but we want to talk about the notion of approaching a world of small rocks. We have a vision around basically small rocks democratizing how you think about business software. Our vision around small rocks is about building the future of how work gets done. It's about putting software that can be built in bite-sized chunks by people that don't have to be in the priesthood of IT professionals and developers to be able to build solutions in the here and now, be able to get those done quickly, get them done cheaply, get them done in a manner that has them achieving their business expectations now and in the future. Now, I think this is a very compelling vision. I think it's important now, and it's important now for 3 reasons. It's important now because the demand for technology and software to help move businesses forward is high today and only going to get higher. The demand for software, the demand for solutions. And at the same time, the supply is way too low. Rick showed this in his keynote yesterday. The supply of engineers, the supply of technical talent is not growing to meet this demand. And you see it in the industry, Google, Facebook, Microsoft. These companies can't get enough engineers in the door. How will all of us do that? And with that gap, you need tools that can help close that gap. And we believe with great passion that Quickbase is a foundational platform that can help companies of all sizes cross that gap. And when they do that, they have an opportunity to demand and expect a new set of expectations. Expectations where they're able to get impact in hours and days, a breakthrough in price and value, and where they're always exceeding their business goals. This is what I think that we have, this is the journey that I think that we're on in terms of transforming Quickbase and the industry, and this broader vision that I think is so exciting and so powerful, not only for us and for you and for our partners, but really for the whole industry. It's something that I think is big and very compelling, and I'm very excited about it, and it drives me and it drives the team as we work with you to build and deliver features and capabilities that delight you. But enough about me talking about that. What I'd like to do now is bring two of our customers on stage to talk with me a little bit about how they see these expectations being met in their organization. I'd like to welcome on the stage right now Don Wellett from AT&T and Janet Plumley from CCI Systems. Great to see you. How you doing? Excellent. How are you both doing?
Wonderful. Well.
Excellent. Welcome to Empower. It's been so fun to see you and meet you in person.
Thank you.
Would love to hear a little bit about what you're doing at AT&T with Quickbase today.
Sure. But before I answer that, do you mind if I give you a quick shout out?
Oh, sure.
I was reminded last night that last year at Empower, we had some, as a customer, we had some pretty specific asks. And they were very big asks. And somebody on your product team said to me, I remember last year you asked for these 3 things, and we built them. And they're here, and you're using them this year already. And so I just wanted to say thank you so much. From a large customer enterprise product, it was really important for us to have the governance, which we're all seeing is happening right now, and some of the administration tools, which we were welcome to see during Empower this time. So again, thank you so much for listening.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much. It's certainly, we absolutely appreciate it. It's the start of a great journey. So thank you very much. It means a lot to us.
Sure. Okay, so now to answer your question, how are we using Quickbase as a customer? So we have 2 main areas that we're using it in. My partner over here, Taylor Hardy, is representing the AT&T University, and we use it through the university for capturing behavioral data. And we also use it for gathering information from our trainers, internal trainers, and our partner trainers on what we need to change within our training for maintenance and changes. I represent the Mobility and Entertainment Group. There's over 200,000 employees there. And we have, over the last 3 years, built an entire intake and workflow system to reach any of our internal employees. So if anyone in our company is looking to request training or an internal communication or an M&P or ask for project management, they have to go through our intake tool. Then once they do that, we've built an entire it's actually an approval and work assignment process through that workflow into all 4 of those actual business support units. And so it's created an entire cradle-to-grave experience to support each of those requests.
Awesome. And when I talk a little bit about this notion of sort of big rocks and small rocks, does that resonate with you? I'd love to hear about your perspective on that.
Absolutely. So when we first started, Taylor and I started with DirecTV. I was the demand manager for learning and development, and so we created an intake system for learning and development, because originally everyone was having a very different experience depending upon who you were working with within learning and development. So we created that to create a nice easy process. It didn't matter who you were working with, whether it was design or your consultant. Everybody just started to have an ease of process. And then during the merger, AT&T saw what was happening and they said, aha, we want this for the other side of the organization. And it was perfect timing. Our senior leader said, hey, we need to know what's pulling agents off the phone. All of a sudden, there was a lot of training, there was a lot of communication, and agents were off the phone more than they were on.
I see.
Not necessarily true.
Right.
But yeah, so we needed a savvy way for our leadership to take a look at what was happening, and Quickbase was a fast, easy approach to making that happen. So by doing it in small rocks and small pieces, it ended up becoming a very big rock.
Awesome, great. Well, thank you so much. Jen, it's so good to have you here. Would love to hear a little bit about CCI Systems and all the great work you're doing with Quickbase.
Thank you for having me, Jay.
It's a pleasure.
We are using Quickbase in a multitude of ways. We have apps from fleet tracking to budgeting, safety incident tracking, our invoice collection tracking app. So we touch a number of different places in our business, and we provide those tools for the employees that need to use them to make their jobs easier.
Awesome. I'd love to hear a little bit of your perspective about when I'm talking about sort of the notion of centralized IT and sort of these big projects versus the sort of more bite-sized. You've had some amazing stories about how fast you're able to move using Quickbase.
Yes, the small rocks definitely resonates. I was very fortunate to be involved in a couple of different projects over the last 6 months. Two in particular. There was one app that we put together in 1 to 2 hours, and the user for that was very happy. He left my office and was able to be working that afternoon. And then just a few weeks ago, we put together another app, and it was overall it was a couple of days, but the actual development time was 2 to 3 hours.
Oh my gosh, just unbelievable. And we hear that sort of thing all the time. I saw a little bit of that at the Appathon last night when I was able to judge things that were built in 90 minutes. And we just appreciate so much, and I get so much energy out of talking to customers like yourself that are able to cause these moves to happen in such a short amount of time. Thank you both so much for joining me on stage here at Empower, and have a great rest of time at Austin.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. I get so fired up when I talk to customers or see Appathons and see things built that move the needle so quickly. And that movement, that ability to drive change and impact quickly, cheaply, and at and above expectations really fuels these requirements that we're focused on as a team around trust, simplicity, and power. I'm going to now drill into each one with a little bit more depth and then kick off our demos. So with trust, having worked in this industry for 20 years, having worked on some broad-scale platforms, to me, this is in many ways the most important and foundational thing that we have to do. You as customers are depending on us to give you a fast, highly responsive, very flexible database as a service. And if you're going to depend on us, we need to be delivering a platform that is reliable, that is secure, that is manageable, that can scale, and that delivers the kinds of capabilities that our IT organizations demand to be able to control, to manage, to audit users, know what's happening, know who's changing things. As a matter of fact, the very first customer visit I went on when I started at Quickbase was with a public agency in the West. And I met first with an IT professional who said, look, Quickbase is growing very quickly in my organization, but I need to know if you're shadow IT or not. Are you going to give me the controls to manage and govern this thing or not? Or are you hoping to just sort of duck under the radar? And my answer to him was, look, we're deeply committed to not being shadow IT. We want to be able to give your users the flexibility and the speed that they want, but the control and governance that you absolutely need. And that has really fueled a big part of what we have been focused on in terms of those first steps towards delivering trust that I think we've been delivering over the last year. And what I'd like to do now, instead of talking more, is really show a lot more. And to be able to showcase this, I'd like to invite to the stage my most trusted senior product manager, HOVSEPYAN. Hey, Kev, how you doing?
I'm doing fantastic,
Excellent.
having a great time.
You having a good time at Empower?
Yeah, it's
Excellent.
an absolute pleasure to be here.
So talk to us a little bit about what's going on in the realm of trust.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd like to start by showing off our audit log capability, which we delivered in our March release with ability to track all the logins. And since then, we've been delivering a number of new use cases. So it's important to highlight that audit log is #1 requested feature in user voice. We have more than 800 votes for that.
Yeah, so user voice, of course, many of you will know the system that people can sort of vote up things they want. This was #1.
Exactly. And what we learned from all of you, that in order for your organization to leverage Quickbase to its full extent, they need full auditability.
Yep.
In other words, they need to know who's doing what in the platform.
Yep.
So, and this is important not only for visibility and control perspective, but for compliance reasons as well, because in a number of regulated industries, full auditability is a strong requirement.
Absolutely, 100%.
So we learned what our customers asked us to do. We learned from them, and here we are demoing it. And this is a perfect time to go and demo our audit log.
Great. So what do we got here?
So on the screen here, you can see audit log for a fictional company. You can see a bunch of events, logouts, table create, app dashboard access, search functionalities. And again, this is a very, very small part of what we delivered so far. And in order to demo how this works, I want to go to an application to a fictional company called Installation Manager, which the company uses to track customer information, as well as to track all the purchases, like home theater installation.
Got it. So a fictional home theater installation company using Quickbase to basically track projects. And
exactly.
Got it.
And as you can imagine, this application may have a lot of sensitive data.
Right.
So now let's imagine I'm a technician at this company, and for some reason, I share this application with the person who should not have access to it.
Okay.
But before I do this, please do not try this at home. So to do that, I'm going to go to our user page, and I'm going to share this application with bad person at...
Yeah, definitely don't do this at home. We'll be writing a best practices white paper about this later.
Right? So I shared the application with the person. Now, a couple of months forward, IT admin learned that there's a security and data breach. That person accessed the data who should not have access to it.
Got it.
So in order to track this down and understand what happened, now using audit capability, admins have full visibility what happened exactly. So they can go to audit logs. And the top of the logs here, you can see that Elizabeth shared the application with bedperson at competitor.net, right?
Got
so
it.
this provides the full visibility they need.
Awesome. So this is shipping today. This is in release. This is in full production as we have it today.
Yeah, absolutely. This is our phase 1 of delivery.
Yep.
And I'm very excited to tell you that we're about to deliver the second phase of audit log roadmap, which is ability to track data changes. We're going to release this in about 3 weeks from now.
Great.
And this will give our customers ability to track all data creation, deletion, and modifications in their platform.
Awesome.
Woo!
Fantastic. Woo-hoo! Great.
Yeah.
And then what's next after that?
And the third phase of this project will be ability to track schema changes, which will do exactly what it says. Will give our IT admins ability to track all the changes like relationship creation, new table creation, changing property of the field, and etc.
Awesome.
Woo!
That's great, and I know there's a lot more than just the top thing on user voice. What else have you guys been working on?
Yeah, I want also to talk about the user management improvements that we made. So at last year Empower, we promised to deliver a lot of improvements to how users are managed at the RUM level, at the platform level. So you may remember that before we used to have a lot of pages with number of controls around user management, and it was very hard to make sense of it.
Yep.
Right? So what we did, we consolidated all these controls into one page, and we introduced a number of new capabilities on top of that. So to show here, I go to user management page. You can see all your users and all the consolidated controls, which I like to highlight a couple of them if you don't mind.
Go for it.
So I'll start
I'll
start from session management tab, which gives our customers and you ability to track all the active sessions. Now you may ask, why do I need to have all the sessions?
Right.
So let's imagine a case where you lost your laptop, and you want to ensure that the tab was open in Quickbase won't expose the data. That's a sensitive data for your company. So using this interface, you can go find that session, select the session, and close it.
Yep.
So that's a really huge security improvement. Other things I like to highlight, simple things like group tab, which shows you all the groups that you're part of, application tab that shows you all the applications that you have access to, and some high-level information about user, like first name, last name, email address, as well as some ROM-level permissions.
Gotcha.
But this is really important consolidation that we'd be.
Yeah, absolutely, super important, and a huge improvement over the different pages you had to drill in to find this. Yep.
We also heard from our IT admins and security professionals, they want to have access to user data and user structure. So what we did, we delivered this new permission called super user, which gives them ability to access application data and ensure that application meets their compliance and data regulation standards.
Got it.
Another very important governance improvement.
Absolutely, and a great name too. I feel like I need a cape every time I hear it.
And last but not least, I want to also highlight ROM-level access to all user tokens. So our users, Quickbase users, access our platform not only via user interface, but API as well. And this provides high-level visibility, like who has user tokens, how they use it, how they access the platform via API.
Yeah, and really important as we continue to make Quickbase more powerful, as people start accessing it via API, that we have these management capabilities built in.
Exactly.
Absolutely fantastic set of progress that's all shipping today, and with some really exciting updates coming in terms of the audit capabilities. That's just great. As we switch off from the demo and back to the slides, we're really excited about some of the coming soon elements.
Absolutely.
And I want you to talk a little bit about those.
Yeah, as you highlighted, the best days are ahead of us. And the proof of that, some of the capabilities that I want to highlight. So the first one, I want to talk about advanced data encryption key management capabilities. So you all know that we encrypt your data in transit at rest using world-class encryption solution. While it provides very strong data security, it doesn't have enough controls for our customers to control their encryption. So we're going to deliver a number of features that will allow our IT admins and security professionals to control it. Starting from customer-specific encryption key management capability, which we'll deliver in 3 weeks. And then we are going to deliver also customer-held encryption key, in which case customers will be able to host their data encryption keys in their hardware security module or KMS system.
Right, absolutely. So if you're a customer that has sort of higher security and regulatory requirements around how you encrypt and how you sort of manage that encryption, those features start to show up in about 3 weeks. Really exciting stuff.
So the next thing I want to, thank you. The next thing I want to highlight is enterprise identity management integrations. So now you may ask, what is identity and access management integration, right? So as most enterprises, you guys as well, probably have a number of enterprise systems, SaaS solutions in the enterprise ecosystem. So let's imagine a case, we hired a new person, we want to give this person the same permission and the same access. So one way to do it, you can go into all your SaaS solutions one by one, and log in and provision the user, give the same access. It's really hard to do, time-consuming, hard to maintain. Other way to do it is to integrate your SaaS solutions with identity and access management systems, provision user in one central location, then which go into all your SaaS solutions.
Have it all inherited across. So whether you use Active Directory or Okta or OneLogin, whatever it is, as we integrate with those capabilities, now you can sort of just manage from Quickbase from those systems.
Absolutely, and we're going to provide all the capabilities to seamlessly integrate with identity and access management systems, which is going to be huge for IT and security.
Oh, that's fantastic. And when's that starting to show up?
So we're going to deliver that in 3 weeks again, in June release, early access. Everything is coming in June.
Awesome. Awesome. It's great. I've been joking with Gav and the team that he's Mr. 3 weeks, because it just sort of everything has just been, you've been such a great leader, and the team has been just performing at such a really high level in terms of bringing out so much capability. And I think the road is to have such exciting capabilities coming in such a short period of time next is something I'm really excited about. Thank you and the team. And a big shout out as well for your session that's coming up right after this. So that if you're interested in learning more about these capabilities and what the roadmap is moving forward, please make sure to stop by and see Gev's session. Gev, thank you so much.
Good job. Thank you.
So again, it's been a really exciting year on the front of trust. We've had a huge focus on it. As I said, it's a massive priority for us. Really excited about the short-term roadmap, but absolutely acknowledge we still have a ton of work to do, a ton of partnership with you to continue to carry the load of trust forward. I'd now like to transition quickly to a customer that can talk a little bit about the impact of trust and these capabilities in her organization. I'd like to welcome to the stage Jen STACHNIK from VERITE. Hey, Jen, it's great to see you. How are you doing today?
Great. It's wonderful to be here.
Excellent. It's been really exciting to get to know you and talk a little bit about what VERITE does with Quickbase, and that's really interesting. But I think for those that don't know VERITE, it'd be great for them to hear a little bit about the mission and the effort that you all are on at your organization.
Sure. So VERITE is an international nonprofit located in Amherst, Massachusetts. Our mission is to eradicate forced labor, child labor, human trafficking, and promote safe, fair, and legal working conditions in global supply chains. So the work that we do with governments, other nonprofits, Fortune 500 companies in auditing, training, research, and consulting is intended to eradicate modern-day slavery.
Oh, yeah. And when we were talking, you were talking about how Quickbase has really grown in your organization, that your employees are ones that feel really empowered, that want to sort of step in and not only make a difference in the world, but also build technology solutions that map to them. Can you talk a little bit about that and how these capabilities are helping you get control and govern Quickbase in the manner that you need?
Sure. So over the last several years, we've increased our workload by about $3 million and hired about 10 additional people to take that on. The enhancements that we've made with Quickbase have allowed for efficiencies that have only added one additional administrative overhead person. But with all of this additional work, more and more people want to get moving quickly on their projects. They don't want to have to go through someone else. Right now it's just me that does all of the app building. And especially they don't want to take the time if it's something they can do themselves very quickly as opposed to having a meeting or sending an email. And we were concerned about the integrity and security of the system, but now with these new changes that Quickbase is coming up with, this is allowing us to empower people to come up with new ideas, solve their problems, and get moving very quickly. Particularly the audit logs and the administrative features allow me to really easily manage what everyone's doing and my users.
Oh, that's fantastic. Well, we're really proud to be part of a software platform for you in this really noble mission, and I'm really glad to see that these capabilities are starting to make an impact at VERITE and in your use of Quickbase each and every day. Jen, thank you so much for joining me on stage. All right, so if trust is pillar number one, pillar number two is really around simplicity. As I was saying, I think the vision and the opportunity that we are on is one that's really broad and massive. And in that regard, we think it's very important at Quickbase that we're always striving to make Quickbase, the platform, more approachable, more simple for everyone. And we categorize everyone broadly in three big buckets. Bucket number one is new builders, people that you might bring into the community, that you might suggest start using Quickbase. That's sort of one area. A second area is really making progress on making end users' lives in Quickbase better and easier so that your apps, the things that you're building, land and are used and are successful with the users that you're distributing those applications to. And then finally, and most importantly, features and capabilities that we're focusing on to really help you, our builders, you, the people that are experienced with Quickbase, really focused on trying to make our product simpler, easier, more productive for you. And to showcase a lot of what we've been doing and things that are soon to come, I'd like to bring my simplest product person on stage, GIDEON ANSELL. Hey, Gideon.
Hey, everyone.
How you doing?
I'm doing just great.
Excellent. It's so fun to see you at Empower.
I always love being up here at Empower. I love seeing the depth and the breadth of the solutions that people create with Quickbase across all industries and just every single different facet of what they're doing.
Awesome.
Well, thank you for calling me simple.
Yeah.
My 15-year-old reminds me of that pretty much every day, so you're not alone.
It's your middle name.
Yeah.
Excellent. So you guys have been really busy on sort of making the product simpler at a lot of different levels. Love to have you talk through sort of the work you and the team have been driving.
Absolutely. So we'll start with what Gev just showed there. So simplifying the administration of Quickbase is absolutely fundamental to trust.
Yep.
If you can't find and use those tools, they might as well not be there. So we are simplifying it for everybody across the entire Quickbase user spectrum.
Awesome.
So I'm going to show, we've done so much this year, it was hard for me to pick a few things to show here, so I'll focus on a few.
But you simplified.
I will simplify this. I also want to encourage people to come down to our design lab. Many of you have been there already, but that's a place where we're getting your input into how to simplify things even more in the future.
Great.
Okay, so let's start with My Apps. You know, when we first started with Quickbase a number of years ago, people maybe built 3, 4, 5 apps, but as Quickbase expands in the enterprise and in the companies, people have dozens, if not hundreds of apps.
Right.
And finding them in a page like this, where everything has the same icon and is the same color, is a little bit difficult. So starting this month,
all right, 3 weeks.
We have our new
borrowing from Gev.
Yes, we have our new My Apps page. Yeah,
nicely done.
So you can color icons, you can color them, you can pick your own icon.
But you still have like search capabilities and filtering and
everything that you had before is still there. So all of these purple icons with the old school icon, encourage you all to go out there and start flipping those over into color and picking your own icons.
Awesome.
In terms of simplifying things, so you mentioned that we're simplifying things for people who are just getting started with Quickbase. Now, I know most of you out here are fairly experienced builders, but I also know that like many of you here are new to the Quickbase, and so we're trying to make the ability to create apps even easier, and we've done a lot of work so far. We've got a lot more to go, but I'll start off with our trial experience.
Okay.
Yeah. So for our trialers, you know, Quickbase is an easy-to-use platform, but often they start off here and they're not sure what anything is and how to get started. So we have this whole tutorial series now, starting with Quickbase Basics, how to get an app from Exchange, how to build tables, how to customize forms, how to build table-to-table relationships, charts, reports, notifications, all those things. So for all of you out there who are experienced builders, this might not be for you, but if you're trying to spread the use of Quickbase in your enterprise or in your organization, having your people go through those tutorial series is a great way to get started.
100%.
Right. And then another thing that we've simplified here is how to create a new app.
Great.
It used to be when you say create new app, you got this page that you had to sort of figure out how to create tables, relationships, fields, and most people who are new to it didn't really know what that was or how to work. So we are creating a new create app from scratch here, where of course the first thing that happens is you get asked for an app name. So let's say I'm going to do a ticket tracker app here. And I can pick an icon. So it's as simple as this, to pick an icon and choose a color. You can, of course, put in your own colors if you want, if you know when to brand them.
Yep.
And when I create the app, we come to a brand new empty app, which tells us it's looking a little empty. But what do I do next? Well, we have a little
looks like you
guidance
should start
here.
a new table.
It looks like I should, and so I will.
Okay.
And so this kind of guidance built into the app building process itself is what we're going to be doing more and more of. We've got it in a couple places here. I'll put in employees. And of course, when we do that, we pick an icon for you, suggested icons.
There you go.
I create that. And I'm not going to bother making you watch me build a table here, but for every part of the product where people are new to it, when they come to that,
they kind of get guided around.
They'll get some guidance, and we're going to start putting these little videos right in place here. So if you don't know how to use that particular feature, here's a quick intro to it.
Kind of get some guidance.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So, and we'll be continuing to expand that throughout the course of the year because, as you said, our best days are ahead, and we're going to continue to make that building even easier.
Awesome. What else?
Well, let me switch back to this app over here, and now I'm going to feature some of the things that we're doing for the end users.
Yep.
Right? So probably all of you saw that we upgraded our calendars a few months ago to give you the ability to colorize dates, ability to see things in either month view or week view or day view. And we also added the ability to drag and drop. Right? Because that's how people use computers these days.
Yes, it is.
And our old school calendars didn't let you do that. So here's investigate bat swarming behavior in Austin. I see that it's red and it's overdue.
You're behind on that.
I am behind. So
I wish you'd get on it.
What do you do when you're behind on something?
You move it.
You move the date.
You hit the
move the
button.
date. Exactly,
that's what I do.
Right?
That is, I didn't get that email.
So we're going to bring that whole drag and drop and visual access to Quickbase into many, many different areas as well.
Great.
So I'm going to go into this tickets table here.
Yep.
And here's a list of open tickets. And I can look at it, and obviously reports like this are useful in many cases. But if I'm somebody who's managing a bunch of tickets and I need to see which ones are open, which ones are in progress, which ones are closed, looking at a table like this is a little bit difficult.
Yep.
So this month we're announcing our brand new Kanban boards.
There you go.
So now, whoops.
Whoop. What'd you do there, bud? You left it.
A little fast on the trigger here. There
you
we
go.
Okay, so Kanban boards let you pick a particular field in your table that is a multiple value field, multi-select field, and let you put each one of those values.
You kind of drag them around like cards.
Yep. And so, for instance, I see this one that says machine crashes. That seems like something I ought to be handling, so I can bring it over in process. And so I can look at it, I can see what state things are in, and then I can move it.
Drag
and
it.
Behind the scenes, those values are being changed.
So you're not drilling into
app.
a table and changing a record. You're just dragging stuff around.
Exactly.
Really easy. Users aren't going to need to watch a 3-minute video for that.
Right,
Yep.
right. And so this is in early access right now. If anyone's interested in taking a look at it, you can contact us via support or see Sam Jones, who's sitting right over there, and he will give you.
Trade floor.
Yeah, and so let me just demonstrate 2 or 3 other things we did this year to help our end users.
Keep rolling.
So I am actually
no hook yet.
I actually am going to drill into that form to show, of course, tabbed forms.
Yep.
Right?
Awesome.
We promised it last year. We did it this year.
Yep. Great.
So now no longer you have everything in one long scrolling form. You can
I think we all know the value of tab forms for sure.
Thank you.
Let's keep rolling.
I'm going to tap on this tab here and talk a little bit about rich text fields, because rich text fields, of course, enable you to put in formatted text, pictures, images, and things like that.
Different colored text.
Right.
Bold.
Right. Exactly.
Italic.
Thank you. And of course, if I look at that as well, on this table here, I can select things and delete them, and I can multiply select things and delete as well.
Multiple delete now.
Right,
Yep.
right. So that's just a few of the things that we've been doing for end users. We got a lot more in store coming up later this year.
Awesome.
Right. So you mentioned that we were doing a few things for power builders.
Yeah, absolutely.
So let's
get into
take a look at some of the things we're doing there. So I'm going to go into this tickets table, and I'm going to go to a report that I have called Kanban with Bad Formula. Just like Jev's bad user, I have one called Bad Formula.
Okay.
And so I created this Kanban report, and I actually wanted to colorize these based on
kind of like the last one.
Kind of like the last one. Those colors, I should have explained, were the priority.
Yep.
So, you know, that one that was red, that was high priority. I should have picked that one first.
Yep.
But for some reason, my colors didn't come up here. So I'm going to go in there and customize this report. and I'm told that there's a formula syntax error.
Yep.
Okay.
What does
That's
that
great.
mean?
What does that mean, and what do I do about it? So let me scroll down.
You having a scroll problem?
Yeah, I am having a scroll problem here.
Want to refresh?
Oh,
There
here
you
we go.
It's a fat finger problem.
It
There you
is.
go.
So what's my problem here?
Yeah.
Well, we have a new formula editor here
Yep.
that instead of just a plain text editor lets you, first of all, indent things.
Yep.
So we know people have very long formulas, but more than that, it highlights places where there's errors. So here I said I wanted to create this based on the priority of the, but I see I only
You missed
wrote
it.
priort.
Yep.
So I can click in there, and by the way, it's suggesting other fields that I might want to
Oh yeah, so
use
it's
there.
like taking a guess at you.
Right.
Okay, cool.
So
there we are.
and then I can see that green here is not, doesn't have quote marks around it. So I'm going to put quote marks around that as well. So
Cool.
I'm not going to go through the whole thing. I'll simply say that our formula editor is something that was high on the list, again in user voice, with a better formula editor, and delivered on that.
Of course. I mean, if you're writing formulas and doing any, even light coding, it can be exasperating if you have a misplaced semicolon or a misplaced quote. So it's so nice that you guys put into place the ability to sort of call out, hey, you might have a problem here, to just help
And this is
find
how
the
people,
issue.
again, this is the way people work in Excel. We want them to feel as comfortable as they did in Excel in Quickbase.
Awesome.
So, so that's what I'm demonstrating right here today. I do have a couple of other things that we're working on this year that I want to talk about. We have a new relationship builder coming up that makes it much easier to build relationships.
Awesome.
From many different places in the product. Drag and drop forms are in the process. We're working on that. And yesterday Rick talked a little bit about AI and how we want to start baking that into the product. And we have 20 years experience with people building apps and hundreds of thousands of apps, and we know what goes in various tables. We know what goes in customer tables, opportunity tables, and we know, in fact, that when someone says, I want to track, say, IT tickets, we can recommend the tables that they should be in that app for them. And so later on this year, we're going to be announced suggested app building, where you type in the name of the app and we suggest the tables for you. And those tables are components, so you can add them individually as well. And they're predefined with schema and reports already built in them.
Awesome. Great.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not going to let you get off the stage, and we're not talking about simplicity and making Quickbase more interesting for everybody without you talking about mobile. So let's talk mobile.
Okay, so this is my phone, so now everyone knows that my prescription is ready.
That's not that alert happened. I was like, all right, good.
So we have, earlier this year, we completely redesigned our mobile experience. When you build an app, you get a free mobile version of that app.
Yep.
But people told us over the last couple of years that the differences between the mobile version and the desktop version were a little bit too much, and people weren't happy with it. So we completely redesigned the mobile app to be almost an identical user experience between the desktop and the mobile.
Yep.
So if people in the past, if you thought that the mobile version of Quickbase wasn't really up to par, I encourage you all to go out there and try it again, because the mobile version now has these charts on the dashboards.
Yep.
We've got our table menu on the side, so I tap that, and there's my table. So the same
That's
icons.
just a Quickbase app that kind of in a mobile also manner just shows up and works on a mobile browser in a manner that's that's sane and makes you is useful.
However, people have also told us that going into a web browser to do that is a little bit cumbersome.
Yeah, I would say so.
What we're working on right now is a native mobile app.
Woo! I want my native mobile app.
Right. So
this would be something that would show up in a Google Play Store, an Apple iPhone store.
Exactly.
You download it. You wouldn't have to sign on. You wouldn't have kind of goofy re-enter password stuff. You'd just be right in the app.
Exactly. And it will be the exact same experience as the one in the web browser as well.
Awesome. So a really important step. Where do we go from here with mobile?
Step one was the web mobile.
Yep.
Step two is wrapping that same thing in a native app.
Yep.
And step three is the ability to build custom native mobile applications that connect to your Quickbase apps.
Awesome.
And you'll see it if you go down to the design lab. You'll see us demoing where we're heading with that. We want your feedback, so please come down there and see it down there. This is something that it's in the early stages, and we're trying to get as much feedback into it as possible. But the ability to build custom apps for your field workers, your service workers, people who are primarily mobile, and you want to create a customized experience for just that particular person.
Awesome, and I know you and Mark Field are also going to be hosting a session on mobile.
We are, so I hope everyone comes on down, and if it's popular enough, we'll repeat it tomorrow.
Awesome, there you go, nice little sales pitch.
Yeah.
Gideon, thank you so much for everything.
Jay.
Thanks for a great demo on what we're doing on Simplicity.
And thank all of you.
Yep. So I really appreciate that, Gideon. Again, simplicity, another area that I think we've made good progress on. Still a ton of work to do, particularly around continuing to make the product, the applications that you build simpler for your users. And we have a ton of work and opportunity, I think, as well for you, our power builders, to build features and capabilities that make your lives more productive. I'm really excited about the roadmap moving forward. To talk a little bit, one of the things that I think a lot about with simplicity, and as I've worked with our partner ecosystem, one of the great things that we have the opportunity to do is see partners sort of take where we're going with Quickbase and extend it and deliver really amazing solutions on top of Quickbase that really sort of deliver this unbelievably strong consumer-grade experience for end users. And to talk a little bit about a little more about how she and her company are taking Quickbase and building it into even more simpler and broad solutions, I'd like to welcome on stage Amy Gwynn, the president of Simpo. Hey, it's good to see you. How are you doing?
Doing wonderful. Loving Austin.
Great. Yeah, a lot of good brisket last night. Thank you very much. So I am really thrilled we've had a great opportunity. We've had a great relationship between Quickbase and Simpo for a number of years. You've helped a lot of our customers really take Quickbase to another level. Would love to just get a little bit of perspective when I talk about like small rocks, big rocks, helping companies move forward. Given your long-term perspective and work in the industry and the ecosystem, what's your perspective, sort of taking a step back, thinking about that broader vision that we see?
I think, one thing that I've come to learn is that the small rocks really are the small business units or divisions of a corporation, and they're craving technology. They're thirsty for technology, and the reality is they affect the bottom line. And a lot of times IT is dealing with these big rocks of security and big data, and they really don't have the capacity to help these business units really have the technology they need to automate their business process and workflow. That's where Quickbase has been imperative. It's been the great solution that comes in, effectively, transforms these small rocks into powerhouses.
Awesome, that's great. And I would love to, I got to give you this because you got a slide or two to show. One of the things that I've talked a lot about when I talk about simplicity is creating experiences that not only sort of solve problems, but really delight those end users. And Simpo's has a great portfolio, if you will, of projects and clients where you've done that. Could you showcase and talk a little bit about that for a minute?
Absolutely, Jay. Thank you for asking. So, for example, what you're seeing here is part of our resource management suite. And what we were able to do, as I'm sure many of you have experienced, where you have to click in and out of different tables, we consolidate tables. I see. So you have the executive summary that, the people who may sign off on the checks that pay for Quickbase, you can delight them with something simplistic with an executive dashboard. Or on the left or right, you can see our allocation or utilization tools. And the great thing about these interfaces is that they're consolidating 5 or 6 tables into one interface. They're all drag and drop, point and click, all the things that we have come to learn through our mobile experience in life.
Got it. Excellent. Yeah, and that sort of thing, that consumer-grade, world-class experience is something that's just so valuable if you want to really sort of have Quickbase climb the waterline in an organization. Fantastic.
Absolutely. Let's go to the next one here.
Yeah.
So this one is one we're very proud of. It's with TGI Fridays, obviously, and they came to us and they wanted to make sure that their end user had the look and feel of their brand. So we preserved their brand. We made sure, and shout out to TGI Fridays, Laura, if you're in the audience somewhere, but they wanted to make sure that their end user had this sense of familiarity. So that there wasn't a different platform that they were experiencing, but the great part of all of this was that the nucleus is Quickbase. Quickbase is driving all of this. We just put the pretty pictures on the front end of it. We made some simplistic features to it, and then essentially gave them exactly what they were looking for.
Awesome, great. And talk to me a little bit about mobile, because I know you do a lot in that space.
Absolutely, I'm glad you asked. Thank you very much, Jay, for that tee up. So, in case some of you may have experienced in the lobby, for example, walking out the door, losing that cell signal.
Right.
You may be working on something, you're like, well, there goes that signal.
My mail didn't go out. I didn't know about the bat thing that Gideon was talking about on the calendar. Yeah.
So essentially what we have solved for, and until our cousin over there, Simple Gideon, we have Gideon Simple, we're Simpo. So we've come out with a mobile application that also has offline capability. It is something that can be downloaded from from iTunes or from Google Play. And essentially what it will do is allow you to tie into your Quickbase application. If you're offline, and as Gideon was mentioning, if it's a field technician or somebody who is maybe in a subterranean basement that can't access cell signal, they can go ahead and perform their work tasks, and then as soon as cellular connectivity or Wi-Fi is restored, all that data is synced back into Quickbase.
Awesome.
Yes.
Amy, this is great. A great set of stuff, and we really appreciate your partnership, your commitment to Quickbase, how you help us each and every day, help our shared customers move things forward. Great to have a chance to see some of the innovation you and Simpo are bringing to the ecosystem. Thank you so much. Have a great rest of EMPOWER.
Thank you, Jay.
Yep. So really excited about all the work that we're doing ourselves and with our partners around making our platform simpler. The third product priority that I talk about is around power, making Quickbase more powerful. And a key way that I think about it, that I think is useful and very much in line with the vision of Small Rocks IT, is really around the idea, I frame often in the idea that data is the new oil. And this is a very important element of our Small Rocks vision. It's very important as an element of Quickbase powering the future of work. And when I think about data is the new oil, that analogy, it's really important to me because the future, if the 20th century was built and its economy and worlds were sort of, empires were built and lost on a foundation based on oil, the 21st century is very much about data. And one thing you need to know, we all appreciate about data, is that it's exploding in growth, and we're drowning in it. I've read a study that was saying that in 2 years, in 2020, we will create in 1 year 50 zettabytes of data. That's a 10 with, I think, 21 zeros after it. In 2025, we'll nearly quadruple that to 180 zettabytes, which is impossible to wrap your head around. How much data is that really? How much data is it, Jay? Well, I'll tell you how much data that is. That is so much data that if you wanted to download it over a broadband connection, it'd take 180 million years. Which was, if you went back in time 180 million years, you'd be in the early Jurassic period. Not the middle, the early Jurassic period. So I guess when I think about downloading a big file, that starts to put it in perspective. And from my perspective, you think about this ton of oil, of data that's coming at us, and you think about the imperative of business moving forward, and you realize very quickly that in the same way that oil companies needed to be able to find the oil, they needed to get it out of the ground, they needed to ship it where it needed to be, they needed to refine it and put it into the hands of consumers to use it in whatever they wanted, whether it's gasoline, whether it's petroleum products, whether it's plastic, whatever it was. In the same way, we have the same challenge with data. You've got to be able to get access to it. It's got to be truthful. You've got to get it distributed to a place where you can refine it, and you've got to be able to put it into the hands of people that need it and can do things with it quickly and effectively. That is going to be the key imperative of all companies as they think about grappling with data and taking advantage of it. I think Quickbase has a unique and important role to play in terms of being able to connect with data, be able to get it out of systems, have a single source of truth, and enable and empower end users to be able to refine that data and take action on it quickly. So it's a very exciting and important element of our vision. To talk a little bit more about how he sees this playing out, I'd like to invite another of our partners, Mike HANSBOROUGH, the CEO of MCF Technology Solutions, to the stage to talk about this. Hey, Mike, good to see you.
How you doing? Good,
I'm great. Oh, there we go, moving forward.
All right, we're on my big picture up.
There you are, yeah. Very well produced.
Yep, absolutely. Absolutely. So just like you're talking about, data is the new oil, we kind of look at integrations as the new pipelines. And just like physical pipelines bring the oil to refineries, like you said, to transform that oil into something we can use in our SUVs.
Yep.
And it also brings people, the end consumer brings it to our house to heat our house. And we see that analogy really playing out with integrations, bringing data then to people who can transform it, who can add to it and enrich it, and also then people who need to use it to do their job. So I think the analogy holds pretty well.
Awesome.
All right. So we're seeing like three macro trends out there as we work with the clients and many of the people in this room. And I'd like to talk about those just a little bit.
Please.
Yeah, so the first one is we see a lot of app to app. This is really gaining momentum. A lot of people are doing it. I think we saw Home Square yesterday.
Yep.
Really, anybody can do this. We've got products like Workato that are making it easier and faster and more effective. And, we see people bringing data in from all kinds of different systems. MailChimp, they'll bring in data from competitive products, who I will not mention.
There you go.
We'll do documents from, Google Docs. We'll bring in stuff. We'll have a Microsoft Word integration.
Right.
And then all of it gets tied together with these like really cool bots we see with Slack and Microsoft Teams and those kind of products.
Right.
So, it's great. It's just bringing that data in so that you can get it all in one place and have that one version.
100%.
Yeah. The second kind of big trend we see, and this one's been going a long time, and it's still, it's still heavy out there, is really integrating Quickbase and using Quickbase with the big back-end enterprise systems.
Right.
Like the SAPs, the Oracles, et cetera. We've got a client out on the West Coast that they've got a hyper-complicated product line. It's consumer goods. They've got thousands of products. They've got thousands of different promotions they're doing for lots of different segments. And so they're trying to manage all this pricing, and at the same time have that master data in their ERP.
Sounds like a great place for Quickbase to fill in a gap, right?
Great place.
Yep.
Imagine that. And so absolutely, Quickbase is super flexible.
Yep.
And it's letting the people in the department on the front line really do their job and manage the ever-changing, tides of this pricing and promotions.
Right, 100%.
But then it feeds that data through an integration, a really accurate, consistent, structured way back into the back end, so the rest of the business can consume it, the websites, the Salesforce, et cetera. So we see that really good. I mean, even on a small business scale, this isn't just reserved for the big guys. You see a lot of small businesses out there integrating their QuickBooks with their Quickbase, and they form their own small business ERP. It's like super effective. So,
awesome, great.
Yeah, absolutely. So the third trend, and really one that I think is picking up a lot of momentum. I've seen a lot of stuff going on here at the show so far. Best one ever, by the way, right?
Yeah.
Excellent. And it's really, we're out there in the front line with Quickbase, and we're generating a lot of data and other systems. And it's really, okay, how do you start to work with that? You talk about how much data we have, right? How do you, in this ocean of data, how do you make sense of it? How do you action that data?
Right.
And so we see a lot of people pushing data from Quickbase into data warehouses to collect it maybe with other systems, and then ultimately landing on some kind of like BI or visualization and analytics tools.
Got it. Yeah. Great. Awesome.
There's a new kind of breed out there for the last few years really gaining. You see Tableau, you see Microsoft Power BI, these kind of light cloud business intelligence tools, and they become more and more and more powerful. Here's a screenshot of a Power BI, and the ability to consume the data, make sense of it. We love the Quickbase reporting. It's fantastic. Dashboards tailored to each role. But when you really need to take it up and see data from 6 different systems, and you're an executive and you need to look, hey, I need to see the Northwest region. You need all the charts to just switch, and it's fantastic what people are doing. And I've talked to a lot of you that have Office 365, and this isn't a Microsoft conference, but if you've got that, the Power BI is free for your users to consume. So that's the fantastic trends we're seeing out there.
Excellent. Thank you, Mike. That's great. We'd love to get the clicker back, but more important, really appreciate your partnership and all the work that you're doing. You really are. No, it's awesome to have your work on this and your perspective on integrations. I think we're just starting to scratch the surface, and I think this is a trend that's really going to drive our customer base and really the whole industry moving forward.
Absolutely.
Really appreciate it.
Kind of widen that circle of value.
Absolutely.
All right.
Mike, thanks so much. Take care. Have a great rest of Empower. So this is an area that we see as, again, our third key pillar of product investments, and really the business objective, the outcome we want to deliver for you, and why it's so important for us to be able to innovate on this front is because it really raises the ceiling of what's possible in terms of the applications and the types of workflows, the types of solutions that you can build. We look at it as, how do we enable Quickbase and our partners and the integrations that we're able to deliver? How do we enable you to build ever more business critical applications that have a more and more central role in terms of being able to define and push your business forward? And on this front, there are really two key areas that we're most focused on right now in terms of power. One is around automations, and the second is around integrations. And on the front of automations, I'm very excited now to be able to announce Quickbase automations. Thank you. This shipped into general availability in our latest release. We announced it to the press yesterday. We have had great interest and uptake on this capability because, again, it makes Quickbase much more powerful. It makes it more flexible in terms of what it is that you're able to do. And to demo this and to be able to showcase and talk a little bit more about it, I'd like to invite our most powerful product manager on the stage now, Matt Saforian. Hey, Matt. Thank you. How you doing?
Good.
Awesome. No,
Yeah.
I'll get you. Your mic's all good.
Yeah. And so
How's things?
good. So with great power comes great responsibility.
Awesome.
You know? And with automations, we've delivered a really powerful feature while maintaining our commitment to both simplicity and being trusted.
Yep.
And that's been no small feat.
Right.
And these three product priorities that we've been talking about have really helped serve as a guiding light that has really made sure we've delivered something our customers really love.
Mm-hmm. Great.
Yeah. And speaking of which, so yesterday we had a workshop that was just busting at the seams. We were standing room only, and we were actually turning people away at the door. And so, Davin, I welcome the opportunity to be giving that workshop again on Thursday, and we will actually be running that again. So definitely watch the Empower app for that.
Awesome.
And you know, it's been really amazing what people have been saying about automations. You know, for what I've been hearing is that it makes apps dramatically more powerful and wicked smart.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah, how do you like them apples?
I like it.
Huh?
I like it.
Yeah,
I like it.
yeah.
You can't take the guy out of you can take the guy out of Boston.
Yeah. And you know the
Gotcha.
Yeah, and the beauty of it is by making the apps more powerful, more smart, what happens is people are going to save time. There's less clicks in app. Apps actually get simpler and more intuitive for end users because it follows their business process.
Yep.
And there's less errors because people have to, you know, type less in.
Yep.
And that means that teams are going to be able to focus more on doing what matters.
Awesome.
Yeah. So let's take a look at what automations can do here.
Great.
So back to our installation manager here. Customer called up.
Yep.
They're ready to go with this order. And so I'm going to click in here. I'm going to hit review. Now, in the past, for this review, for this installation, we have some materials attached to it. In the past, someone would have had to go in here and type in all the materials or maybe copy it from a spreadsheet.
Right.
But with automation, that's a thing of the past.
Great.
So I'm going to mark this as approved,
Yep.
scheduled.
There you go.
I'm just going to hit save and close. Now that automation is running in the background.
Right.
No work required here.
Right.
And when I click over here,
nice.
there's that bill of sale attached to that order.
So all that stuff just entered in, and nobody has to go and fat finger
exactly.
W12-A.
That text shows up at that installation with all the right materials on his truck.
Awesome.
Because the process is being followed. So let's take a look at how that works. I'm going to click over to my other tab, the automations. I'm going to dive into this one, add materials. And this automation comes up here. And what we have is a trigger.
Yep.
So that's the event, you know, when should that automation run, and a whole bunch of actions. You may notice this trigger looks a lot like an email notification.
Yep.
It follows that same exact pattern. So we can say, hey, when a record is added or modified. And we can be pretty specific about what kind of changes we're going to listen for.
Yep.
And then we got some actions here. So we have so we're going to add some records in that materials table, and those are
That's
the
where all
materials.
the stuff is happening. So you enter it once, and then it just happens.
Yeah, it
Awesome.
just happens. And with automations, you can have multiple actions. We can actually have up to 50 right
wow.
now. Definitely keeping an eye on bringing that even up higher.
Oh, great.
And you can also do multiple types of actions.
Okay.
So here we are. We're going back and we're updating that installation with the approval date.
Okay.
So in the past, yeah, sure, you could have done that with a form rule. But that would have only applied to that form.
Got it.
With automations, this applies to all your forms, and it even runs in grid edit.
Got it.
So Gev earlier talked about our #1 item on user voice. So that's #2 on user voice. Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
Knocking them out.
Yeah, exactly. And we're not done there.
Okay.
We're not done there. So I'm going to click back here. Stuff happens in the real world.
It does.
Guy calls back an hour later and says, hey, I want to cancel my order.
Okay.
We looked at our budget. No, we can't afford that 72-inch widescreen curved Samsung TV. Kind of stuff happens. Yeah. So I'm going to go back here. And I'm going to mark this as canceled. And when this runs in the background, it's going to clear out those installation materials. Oh. So on user voice, that was #3. Cascading delete.
Nice.
Yeah.
You are a powerful product manager.
Well, yeah, not bad for your first product keynote,
yeah, that's right. Awesome. 2 and 3. Excellent.
And Gev and I aren't necessarily keeping count, but I think that between those 3, we're looking at about 1,000 votes in user voice.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
That is great. That is execution. I love it.
Yeah. Doing what we say.
Yeah, exactly.
And speaking of which, so last Empower we promised scheduled table-to-table import. And we actually have a chart here that is run by that. So in the past, to get installations by week, some trend reporting, these techs would have had to put in their tech progress status reports, or TPS report.
Yeah, exactly.
No one wants to do that. Nobody wants to do
it. If we solve nothing else in the world, that's a big thing. No more TPS reports.
Yeah, and so we can actually build this real quick here. So I'm going to click back over to automations.
Yep.
I'm going to click new automation. And here we go. We can pick a trigger. So we saw the data change one. So that's like email notifications and actions today. We also can run it on a schedule, kind of like subscriptions. In the future, we actually see ourselves adding new types of triggers here. So maybe running one based on an API call, or one that's near and dear to my heart, a button. So you don't have to go hacking formula URLs anymore to have buttons that power your workflows. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. So for now, we're going to run it on a schedule.
Yep.
And we have a choice of daily, weekly, and monthly. For this, we're going to run it.
Feels like a weekly TPS report.
Weekly TPS report. We run it on Fridays.
Yep.
I'm going to add an action here. And we have a couple of actions, but we're just going to pick run table to import. And we're also going to pick the table. So we're going to pull it into the weekly installations to grab that snapshot on a weekly basis. Since I already have a table import set up here, I'm just going to click that. I think that was about 30 seconds to set up a scheduled table-to-table import.
Fantastic.
And
you've dominated the TPS report.
Yeah,
I couldn't be more happy.
Yeah.
Now, and so you've already had a session. You want to get another session. Tremendous amount of progress on the Power roadmap. Really happy with all you've done on automations. Thank you so much for all the great work.
Yeah.
Take care.
Have a good one.
Yep. You too. Great. It's awesome to see what potential exists with what we're doing around automations. As I said, when I talk about some of the key focus areas that we have in Power, one is automations, of course. Another is around integrations. And on integrations, I have a lot of energy, and we've seen a lot of traction with you, our customers, with one of our key software partners, that partner being Workato. We've been a partner with them for over 2 years. And we have now over 100 joint customers. We have thousands of joint recipes where Quickbase and Workato are working together to help our joint customers solve their business problems and extend Quickbase even further. We recently announced that we're tightening that partnership in the form of Quickbase being able to resell Workato. So now you can literally work and transact with us, and we can add and resell Workato as part of this, as part of your work with Quickbase. And again, I come back to power and reinforce the theme that in working with Workato, we at Quickbase aspire to help raise the ceiling, raise the bar of potential of what it is that you can do with Quickbase. And as I thought about how we wanted to do a demo of Workato and Quickbase working together, what I did was I challenged the team and I said, you know, what I want to do is I want to see some technology that everybody's talking about. I want to see artificial intelligence in Quickbase. I want it, because everybody asked me about when's Quickbase going to do AI, and my basic point of view was, I bet we could do it really quickly. I bet we could do it now. And I challenged the team to build AI into Quickbase in half a day or less. And they rallied and made it happen. And I'm really excited to be able to demo that in just a second. I'm going to bring on stage someone who's really been sort of in the trenches with this whole keynote, building a ton of our demos, really helping us refine this. He's just been a workhorse for this, and I was so pleased with how this quick demo came together that I wanted him to be able to showcase it for you all. I'd like to bring on stage now Adam Hoover. Hey, how you doing?
Great.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So AI and Quickbase, what do you got for me?
Pretty cool stuff. Yeah.
Excellent.
Well, you know, to highlight what you were saying, you know, it's just so cool to me that Quickbase users can already leverage the power of AI through our partnership with Workato. There's actually a lot of different AI technologies we can talk about, but for today we're going to be working with something you might have heard of called IBM Watson.
Yep, I've heard of that.
Yeah. So, you know, to showcase that, I'm just going to jump right in if you
go for it.
Fantastic. I'm going to pick up really just where Matt left off. So we can see we've got our installation manager here.
Yep.
And he's just kind of canceled that installation.
Right.
So we're going to open that back up. Mm-hmm. And you can imagine that a company that's as customer service oriented as this one would maybe care about their customers' feedback, how their experience went. So if I were to complete this installation instead of cancel it, you'll see there's an evaluations tab that pops up where we can just kind of track the sentiment that a customer might have had about their experience.
Yep.
Right? So there's a ton of different ways we can capture user feedback, and you know, a lot of different strategies people have come up with. But one thing that never seems to change is that some people just want to write a note. Right?
Yeah, that's what I would do.
Yeah. And so to show that, I've got an email that I've written here. We can see apparently I've had a fantastic experience. Either that or I got a really fantastic bribe from the technician.
Yeah, exactly.
Not sure, but I can actually just send this free-form text that we've written. You know, and in the past, someone would have had to go in and actually read this email, right? So let's make sure that
she sends.
We'll go into my drafts, open that email, and hit send.
There you go.
There we go.
Excellent. Nice job,
Microsoft. All right. Yeah. So now we've got that email, it's sent off, and once again, you know, someone might have had to go and manually read that in the past to interpret that. But now, if I go over to Workato, I have a recipe here that I'm just going to run really quickly.
Okay.
And that recipe is going to send that email off to Watson, and Watson's going to read that email with its natural language processing capability, and it's going to leverage its AI capability to actually interpret that email and kind of give it a little bit of a once-over to assess exactly what it just read.
Right.
And so once that's done, we can go back into Quickbase, and I'm just going to save this real quick.
Yep.
And what's neat is that Workato is actually going to take that installation that we've completed. It's going to go through and find the installation. I'm going to go back over to my evaluations tab. It's going to write the body of the email in, and it's going to take what it received from Watson, which is that AI analysis of the sentiment of that email that it's read, and it's going to pop that right in here as well. And so now, we've got AI integrated with Quickbase today using that partnership with Workato.
Awesome.
Pretty cool. You can see, you know, not only that, but now this is data in Quickbase.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
So as we were talking about earlier, data's the new oil, and we're just adding to that oil, right? This is yet another thing we can use. We can use it to drive a nice green emoji. It's kind of, the green smiley face, I think, is the new gold star from your kindergarten teacher.
There you go.
These days, right?
Yep.
But I don't have to stop there. I want to show one last thing, which is that we can use that to analyze, right?
Right.
And so if I go over here to my customer sentiment reporting, I can click on that, and I'm actually going to be able to track the trend of my sentiment and my feedback over time. And not only that,
that's just Quickbase sort of taking advantage of like some charting, but it's awesome.
Right. Yeah, I can even see who's giving my customers a good experience and getting all those gold stars, or in this case, green smileys, right?
Awesome. Adam, that is awesome. I'm so thrilled that you guys were able to put together a demo so quickly and be able to showcase how the power of integrations with Quickbase can sort of, again, raise the ceiling of the possible and start integrating new and exciting technologies like IBM Watson.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah,
really
thank you.
appreciate it. Awesome, really excited about the opportunities around Quickbase and Workato. And in addition to showing some of the capabilities, I wanted to sort of bring on stage some folks to talk about this briefly. I'd like to welcome now Marcus Zern, the VP of Business Development at Workato, and Ty Shoemake, the CTO of Shellman. Hey, Marcus, how you doing? It's good to see you. Hey, Ty, great to see you. Again, you can see that we're really excited about the continuing partnership with Workato and how it helps expand use cases and opportunity with Quickbase. You've heard me talk a little bit about this vision of small rocks and enabling projects to move forward really fast. We'd love to hear your perspective from Workato about what you see in the marketplace, given a little bit of the focus being very similar in many ways around that citizen development movement.
Sure. Well, I mean, Adam just made my day. This is so awesome.
We aim to please.
It's really cool. I mean, because, you know, we started this as an integration platform. And then, you know, I talked to one of our customers recently, CIO of a company called Rapid7, and he said, you know, Marcus, I really don't think of Workato as an integration platform. I think of it as an innovation platform.
Oh.
And I was thinking, I think what Adam just showed us, I think just totally made that point. Because it's, you know, sure, I mean, he integrated Quickbase with Watson, but really what he did was he made that Quickbase app smart.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and so I think what all of you guys can do, there's so much you can do to make all your Quickbase apps smart. I mean, tie them together with other apps, other data sources, databases in your companies. There's a lot to do there. There's just a wild world out there of interesting services, and your Ty knows best is, I mean, think about you have an app about order tracking. You probably want to bring that FedEx tracking service in somehow. You have something around field services. Right? There's Google Maps that will tell the customer when the technician arrives.
Right.
All of that kind of stuff. And then, yeah, I mean, if you want to go super smart, then do what Adam just did. Pick, you know, Watson if you want your Quickbase app to win Jeopardy, right? Right. Or
we'd like that, yeah.
We had one customer actually included Google Vision, and it's a loan application flow demo. The customer can take a photo of the driver's license. It actually gets routed to Google Vision. It picks up the name, the address, all of that, and it all allows you to kind of approve a loan application, and that goes straight into Quickbase.
Awesome.
So there's so many things you can do, and as you know, you've seen. It's so easy.
Right, very
easy.
easy.
It doesn't take much.
So very much aligned. I mean, we have a very synergistic approach, and I appreciate that very much. Yeah. Ty, as someone who's been a long-term Quickbase customer and someone who's also using Workato, would love to hear some of your perspective on all this.
Yeah, I'm going to do that. First, though, you need to understand that Jay and I had a bet yesterday. He bet me $5 that I wouldn't rock my new Quickbase socks on the stage.
Oh my gosh, woo! I will pay up.
I just made $5.
Yeah, there you go. Excellent, great job.
Well, you know, for Shellman, we're an audit and attestation firm. I know that audit is everybody's favorite word. But what we do is, when we approach an integration project, we ask a very simple question. And that question is the juice worth the squeeze? Makes sense, huh?
Yeah.
That's pretty much our approach. And in the past, we used to have to use JavaScript to do a lot of what we wanted to do with Quickbase to integrate Quickbase with the world. That's not a lot of fun. If I were to ask everybody in this room to raise your hand who loves JavaScript, go ahead and do it. There it is. That sort of made my point. But it was very difficult to do. When Workato came, we like to say Workato sort of let the integration genie out of the bottle for Quickbase for us. It's made it so simple that it takes us longer typically to think about what we're going to do and to schedule what we're going to do than it actually does to do it. And that's the beauty and the power of something like Workato. If you can think it, you can do it. All you've really got to do is just start.
Got it.
Everybody in this room has got an opportunity to make Quickbase better. Make it talk to the world. Make the world talk to Quickbase. Workato is a great way to do it, and my recommendation is hop on board.
Awesome.
And there's a free trial.
Excellent. There we go. Nice fit. Guys.
The sales guy.
Excellent. Excellent. Guys, really appreciate both of you joining me on stage today. Thank you very much for the partnership, and thanks for helping provide some customer context. Thanks to you both.
Absolutely.
Great.
Thank you. All right, so I want to just briefly, I'm going to sort of, you'll remember like way back 2 hours ago when I started this, I put a slide up with my phone number and my email. And I told you, like, look, if you have a problem or you have something you want me to know, reach out. And I wanted to sort of highlight Ty, because about a little less than a month ago, he sent us a mail and he said, you know, there's something that you guys could really do, I think, for your whole community that would make things better. It would make things better for Quickbase and make things better for you all. It would sort of help spread Quickbase to more people and make the lives of builders better and better. And we took that feedback to heart. We thought about it very deeply. We started looking into it. And what Ty had asked us for was he asked us for something that said, look, we'd like to have a way to be able to license or get access to Quickbase. If I want to use Quickbase to just learn it, if I want to use Quickbase to hack around, if I want to use Quickbase to get smarter on Quickbase, if I want to use Quickbase for like development, not for production, I'd like a way to get Quickbase simpler. And towards that end, we as a team have started looking, we've really pondered that. And what I wanted to say today that I think is a really exciting announcement, almost as exciting as anything else we've said, is we're bringing forward, we want to bring forward, coming soon, details to be worked out, a Quickbase builder program. We aspire for this to be an easy way for builders, new builders, to get to know Quickbase by using it to learn Quickbase app building skills, experiment with Quickbase applications. It would include a limited license for individuals to build non-production applications. The details and the time frame are getting worked out, but the link up here on the stage enables you or people you know to go and sign up and stay up to date and learn more about what we're doing with the Quickbase Builder Program. So I'm very excited to be able to share it and very thankful to Ty for providing such cogent and well put together feedback on this. So the substance of, now just to recap, because we're coming through the home stretch here, I'd just like to say we're really excited and proud to be able to carry forward the Quickbase mission and journey. We're very tightly focused on execution. We're very tightly focused on doing what we say and saying what we do. We have a very clear product set of priorities around trust, simplicity, and power that I hope land and resonate with you all. And we're pursuing a big, bold, and massive vision. I'd encourage you all, if you're interested in some of the areas that we've talked about today, we have more detailed sessions for you to go and learn about all the work that we're doing across these areas. And I've provided the key information there in front of you. And I very much believe that indeed our best days are in front of us. I'd like to thank you all so much for taking time to listen to us today. We really appreciate your attendance in Empower. We appreciate your partnership and your business. Thank you all so much. Have a wonderful time for the rest of Empower.